Well, if Rowena wants to get there as quickly as possible, we probably want to camp basically on the south side of, or on this side of the river, directly south of where we think the den is.
It's just somewhere west of Lake Baratok. We don't technically know for certain.
Okay.
But we have enough circumstantial evidence to know it's somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if we camp on the other side of the river, directly here near running water, there's like, that's like slight anti-vampire defense, and we're also pretty close to where we think we can pick up the trail.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Okay, so you're just sleeping.
I guess so.
Just wake up in the morning.
Assuming we don't get assaulted in the night.
This, Esmeralda will actually take some time to do some preparations that do not cost money. Namely, tiny hut and private sanctum.
That's a useful trick.
Care to explain?
Liamon's tiny hut basically makes a 10-foot radius immobile dome of force around you, and creatures who were not in the dome when it was cast cannot then enter the dome. Spells and other magical effects cannot extend through the dome or be cast through it. And then, technically, spell ordering would matter, but she'd cast the dome first and then have the private sanctum's effects be within the dome. I'm just going to go for all of the effects that are listed. So sound, well, not the first one. We want to hear what's around us. Scratch that. Not the first two. We want to see and we want to hear through the warded area. But sensors, the main things, sensors created by divination spells cannot appear inside the protected area or pass through the barrier at its perimeter. Creatures in the area cannot be targeted by divination spells. Nothing can teleport in or out, and the warded area blocks planar travel. So those four things, in addition to Liamon's tiny hut.
I assume you're casting it with the party in it?
Yes,
I like how it
clearly.
specifies casting the spell in the same spot every day for a year makes it permanent.
Yeah.
Like anyone's gonna spend a year doing that.
Wizards who are not PCs.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
have
fair
a year
enough,
of
yeah.
downtime.
That's not for players, generally.
Yeah.
I don't know, year of downtime.
Not a year's worth.
That's like interim campaign stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, this is my wizard character's residence. Obviously, they would have done this previously.
Yeah.
Anyway.
During this, I would like to use the new scrying bowl that I acquired to attempt to scry on Katrina. Because if I remember correctly, we never actually confirmed that she was dead. We just kind of ran and misery grabbed Rowena's unconscious body.
Okay.
So I don't know if the anti-magic barrier would prevent scrying. That's your call.
That would be convenient for me. Means I don't have to decide where her body is right at this moment. Let's see, what does it say? Sensors created by divination spells can't appear inside or pass through the barrier.
They can be created outside. However, more pertinently, Leomund's tiny hut, spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it.
Oh, if that was
Okay.
the case, I would have stepped out and
Yeah,
done the scry.
you can do
Okay,
that and
you can
step back
step out.
inside.
Okay, can you show me scrying?
I can do that.
Um, do, do, do. The target makes a wisdom save. It has to be a creature.
But it doesn't specify if they have to be alive or not.
You can
Is-
also
is-
specify a location.
Right, but is a corpse a creature? Or an object? Can you scry an object?
You can scry a location. Rules as written, you cannot scry specifically on an object.
But also, this will either scry on a person or not do anything because person is dead.
Yeah.
You
What
don't-
At
does
least
the
confirms if she's dead or not.
what is the specific targeting requirements for any of those revival spells, revivify or raise dead? You return a dead creature you touch to life. They are still a creature.
Okay. That is fair.
Yeah, you can target a location you've seen before.
Now the next question is, can a corpse make a wisdom save?
I mean, I don't think so. But if you want me to, can certainly do one at disadvantage.
Roll at a disadvantage.
Wisdom save for Katrina.
Yeah.
Ha!
Oh, okay then.
She completely
I
failed.
didn't
because
even
she's
need
dead.
all the modifiers.
You see Katrina's body.
Where is it?
You see. How much do you see?
Do you want me to roll perception on that?
No, I'm reading the spell. You see what, 10 feet within the target?
Oh.
You created an invisible sensor within 10 feet. You can see and hear through the sensor as if you were there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see Katrina's body. You see Kazan. You see a boat. A small little rowboat, but it's like, magically moving on its own.
Now it's gone from a train heist to a boat heist. Okay. And can I confirm that Katrina is in fact dead?
She looks it.
Okay.
Is there any sense of where the boat is?
Water.
Well, I mean, is it like a river or a lake?
You don't really see the land. It is very misty, of course. So
Strange.
Yeah.
your
But
render
probably-
distance isn't very high.
Enough open water to be a lake.
Hmm.
All right. I'll go back into the hut. Katrina's dead. Kazan's taking her on a boat ride somewhere.
And they're not dead. Not for good, anyway. I doubt the devil's going to keep his... I doubt the devil is going to stand for his daughter being deceased for all that long.
You seem to know a lot.
Yes.
I don't think that helps me to trust you.
You notice that Esmeralda is sitting sort of on the far edge of the dome, sort of as much away from your group as possible, while still being in the same physical space. She sort of like takes one of her little hair trinket ornament things, one of those silver discs, and sort of looks into it, sort of using its reflection to sort of judge you. So she clearly hasn't turned you. Did she turn on you? Is that why you're no longer with her?
You mean Katrina?
I wasn't aware she had a name.
Misery literally said it 5 seconds ago.
Still doesn't tell me whether she deserves one.
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, what are you talking about? She's Strahd's daughter! Are you kidding me?
Is that directed at us?
Yes.
Yeah, just out of character. I'm very confused at what's happening right now.
Why are
You know,
you
really,
working with
I've
her?
been thinking the same thing.
You both spoke at the same time. I didn't catch what either of you said.
She's Strahd's daughter. Why are you working with her?
And then what did Misery say?
You know, I've been thinking the same thing.
Well, didn't your god tell you to?
Well, yes.
Well, she's certainly been taking more action against him than most people in this godforsaken land.
Esmeralda will sort of like squint at you when you say that and sort of lean back and tilt her head a bit. I'd say that warrants some elaboration.
She doesn't like her father.
Was that he as in Marcus or she as in Katrina? It was
She,
hard.
as in Katrina.
Ah. Esmeralda just sort of like nods slowly and says, "Suppose that does make a scrap of sense."
And as far as her turning us, I honestly don't think she could. I don't believe she's full vampire.
And she certainly didn't turn on us. Since you ask, it was
Well,
Kazan who
she
killed
didn't
her.
turn on you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, maybe I'd be able to get updates on what Orcus wants me to do if she hadn't just thrown away the skull to the first idiot who, had hands and could walk away with it.
Well, I wouldn't call that turning on you so much as making a poor decision.
Esmeralda is just listening to this inter-party bickering and shakes her head with a smile. Alright, fine. Guess you lot aren't so bad after all. She sort of gestures to Marcus and says, I should probably apologize for attacking you back at the castle then.
For what now?
Hey, if you don't remember it, that's fine by me.
Oh, shit.
Out of character, what happened? I don't remember.
Was that the invisible person?
Yes, it was.
What invisible person?
We were going towards the
The skull.
place where the skull was, and we got attacked by an invisible person,
And we,
and then
hid
you
in
rope tricked
Marcus's,
us up into the air.
Yep. And as Katrina was nearing the entrance of the rope trick sort of hidey hole, a hand axe came flying out of nowhere.
Yep.
I don't remember that at all. But I will take your word for it.
Marcus is the only one who is
And-
present who was there.
Mhm.
Marcus
That's why
remembers.
she's directing the apology at Marcus.
Yeah, I
and
don't
she'll-
remember, but Marcus remembers, and he does not say what now. He says, "So that was you?"
As just nods and says, sorry for your other friends who don't appear to be with you anymore. It happens in our line of work.
So what were you doing in the castle anyway?
Recon.
For what purpose?
She just gestures at her array of weapons. What do you think?
What, are you planning to take on Strahd all by yourself?
If needed.
I see. Well, we've also been working to take down Strahd since arriving here. Perhaps we can work together.
A time, sure. Sure we can. But, if it's all the same to you, I'd rather not tie myself down to one particular band of misfits for too long. And let's be honest, I'm not sure if I can stand being with... She nudges her head away from the group to you assume she's referring to Katrina. Not sure if I can stand being with her all the time.
Relatable.
Well,
Well, this conversation's turned rather dour. Care for a bit of levity?
sure.
She sort of stretches out her hands, pulls out a deck of rather familiar-looking cards. He unwraps them from the silk that they are contained in. Sort of smooths out a patch of grass.
I'm gonna put you on the road map since you're
Yeah.
resting on the road.
Alright, alright. It's been a while since I've done this. One of you speak up, who wants to go first? Or just at all?
Are these those Taroka cards that you keep going on about?
They
She's-
are.
Oh well, Marcus already got some.
Oh, I'm not giving them to you, I'm just doing a reading.
Well,
The
Marcus
last time
already
we
got a
reading
reading.
was certainly interesting.
Oh, it was now. What happened?
What was that? I don't remember the name of the.
Lady Ava.
Yeah. It was shortly after I arrived with the others that I arrived with in Barovia. And after leaving Barovia village, we came across a Vistani camp, and a woman named Lady Ava gave us a reading.
You've met Ava.
Yes. And
Oh, certainly
after-
not as good as she is, but hopefully that'll suffice.
And I guess she prophesized that we're some sort of heroes meant to take down Strahd.
Oh, good, lovely, wonderful.
Well,
three-fourths
we in quotation marks. Marcus is the only one left.
we referring to the group I had arrived with.
Mm-hmm.
Although most of them, well, I guess, are dead now.
Pity that.
But
While you're explaining all this, she has started to shuffle the cards anyway.
that helped us find some valuable tools. A book with knowledge on Strahd, this sword, and a holy symbol that's supposedly going to help us once we can get our hands on it.
Merelda's eyebrow raises with interest as you, mention these particular artifacts.
Except when Katrina drew her card, it was blank.
She stops shuffling. I'm sorry, what?
And every card that was drawn after it was also blank.
Well, I'm glad she's not here right now, because I rather like my deck. I'd rather not have to paint a new one.
I still can't explain it.
Well, since you've already had the magic, let's start with one of you two then. She sort of spreads the deck out, fanning it across the grass, and gestures for both of you to take a card.
Alright.
And I don't know if you, as the DM, can frantically bullshit meanings. I don't have the full like what cards are in a Taroka deck in front of me. So
If you had warned me you were gonna do this, you
I'm
know?
sorry. I have something like non-mechanical, just fluff prepared
Go
because I
for
do
it.
this as a trick in my with another fortune teller character that I have, but
Go for it.
but it's gonna use like tarot names instead of Taroka names. All
They're
right,
like the same thing anyway.
close enough. I would like both of you to roll me a D22 minus 1.
What would have happened if we had rolled the same?
It would have been the same card, just put in and shuffled again or something.
We grab each other's hand in an awkward moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's certainly interesting. She'll tap Misery's card first. And say, High Priestess, huh? Fascinating. So, before you came here to Barovia, you were a follower of Orcus, was it?
I wouldn't say so much a follower as a partner to Orcus.
Hmm. And what exactly did you hope to achieve with your partnership?
Oh, you know. I suppose my end goal was to make everyone realize that every person's death is just as irrelevant as everyone else's. If a noble dies, that's no different than the peasant on the street.
Hmm. Sounds rather closer to a different death deity that I'm familiar with, but I'm sure you already are aware. I'm curious why you turned to Orcus in particular.
Well, he asked me.
Ah, I see. Well, generally, those who come to you with power on offer have something they want from you in return, so I would say be careful, but I know you won't. But if you want to have more of a benefit from your partnership, as you call it, you're going to have to cooperate a bit more closely with what they want. That's the advice of the High Priestess.
All right then.
And distractions along the way, unless they can be reasonably beneficial to your end goal, can be she sort of like waves her hand a bit, more or less simply ignored. Now, as for you, she points at the devil card.
Huh.
15.
Are you sure Misery didn't draw that one?
Nope, it's very clearly 15, the devil.
I know.
that-
I'm just joking that, you know.
Mhm.
What do you mean the tiefling warlock didn't draw the devil?
What about you? Tell me more about you before you entered the mists.
When I entered the mist, she was a knight in service to a noble lord, and was like a protector. And
Nice, a protector.
yeah,
Okay. Did you have any aspirations beyond that? Any sort of. Or were you satisfied in your current status?
one I was satisfied with her status.
Well. If you're fine with. Well, honestly, I can't really speak to whether or not you'll have the luxury of being the same after all this is over, but if you are not content with your current arrangements, it certainly doesn't help to pull yourself up emotionally and let life pass you by. There may, in fact, be nothing to be gained by trying to be subtle or strategic. If you want something more than you have, then your best bet is to express that and let the chips fall where they may. I'm sure you could stand to be a little more outgoing. But that's just me. And my advice. She's going to turn to Marcus and sort of gesture at the deck. Would you like a turn, or have you had your fun already?
Sure, why not?
All right. D22 minus 1.
I'm not currently in a position to roll, so you can roll for me.
Cool.
I'm like cleaning up after eating, so
8. Strength. You don't need to tell me about what you were like before. I can see it in your face. You're like me. Troubled hunter of beasts. Trying to cling to their past while simultaneously trying to kill the thing that haunts it.
I just nod and take a drink from my flask.
And from the looks of it, you don't necessarily need the advice this card is surely giving. separating your own self-interest from that of the greater good. We've sacrificed that long ago. But it does help if you do have the discipline to make that choice. To expect at least a fraction of the same from others who have some power to help you with your goals. Can't challenge them to live a higher standard than you, after all. Then again, I wouldn't force this life upon anyone. And she gathers her cards again. As she's like shuffling the deck once more, she's gonna smirk and say, "You know, you three are rather lucky. I usually charge a silver for that."
Marcus will flick one silver piece over at you.
She catches it and sort of like brings it to her lips to kiss the fist enclosing the coin.
Misery, in sort of kind of stunned silence, will do the same.
I don't have any silver, and I don't want to give you a gold piece.
That's fine.
I only did it because I had two loose silver pieces. Well, technically I have 3, but from my background I got 1 silver piece. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep this and not use it up for anything.
Right. If you'll care about doing watches, go ahead and do that. I'm rather confident in my arcane abilities. She sort of stretches out and will lie down.
Alright.
Should say though, try anything in the middle of the night and I'll gut you like a fish.
Same goes for you.
Oh, don't worry, I'll keep an eye on her.
Alright, doesn't Misery like not need to sleep or something?
I do not need to sleep,
Correct.
or eat or drink for that matter.
I go to sleep.
I will do my trance.
All right.
Do we get a long rest?
Yeah, there are some wolves outside at various points in the night, but you know what are they gonna do? You're in a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's you recover half the total hit dice.
Yes.
Correct.
I was
Okay.
only missing 3, so I'm full again.
I was missing all of them.
I was missing most of mine, but after the last long rest we had, I got a bunch.
I was just missing hit points.
Okay, spell slots recover.
What are
Ah,
my
points.
abyssal spells for the day? That is going to be light for the cantrip. Thunder Wave for the first level, and Darkness for the second level.
You got light and darkness?
Yep.
Poetic.
Oh, and that is 1 day towards recharging Necrotic Husk. So 2 long rests left.
So you begin to locate the werewolf den.
Yeah, see if we can pick up the trail we had before.
Yeah.
Now that we're on the
You
other
will
side
have
of the
to.
river.
You will have to abandon the wagon.
Yeah, we'll do the same sort of hitching it to the nearby tree off the road, sort of out of the way.
Is she staying or coming with?
Ah, she's staying.
Yeah. She can feed the horses and shit.
Yeah. So you head into the tree line.
Should I make another survival?
We'll get to that. But meanwhile,
Oh, hi, hello.
Who is that?
That's
the Raven
Katrina
Queen.
and the Raven Queen.
because this was a cliffhanger scene.
Yep.
Greetings, mortal.
Oh, this is interesting.
You have done well.
Katrina just sort of lowers her head but doesn't really say anything more. Kind of a meek nod.
You have faced great trials and terrible hardships. But now you may rest. And you feel this sigh of relief escape you, even though. Do you even have lungs? This place is weird.
Mhm.
You have questions.
My father is still out there. And you say I've done well, but really, what lasting change to Barovia did I bring about? It's not going to come undone with me out of the picture.
Sometimes it is not about the change which we enact, but the change which we do not.
Loki is still going to be without a leader, and Wachter is probably going to retain her rules. Katrina's just mumbling to herself, sort of starting to have turned away from this deific figure.
Right.
Sun Sword is... I don't even know if the Sun Sword's safe anymore. Kazan could have gotten the rest of them.
She looks down off of a balcony. This place is weird.
I guess
But
there's a balcony now.
She seems to be peering like down a balcony. It is difficult to see, even now. Through the mists that shroud Barovia. A great effort has been expended to reach you.
Trina will, if the balcony is still there, try and approach and peer over it herself.
Yeah, you can. The Raven Queen is much bigger than you, but you're
Yeah.
both level with the balcony.
Somehow. Space
Yeah.
is
Place
weird
is
here.
weird.
Yeah.
Getting Giratina flashbacks.
Yep.
Will they be alright without me?
They will die.
Will my father die with them?
That remains to be seen. Your father is a concern. But you... She turns her gaze to you and regards you. And it's kind of spooky.
Trina, one of her hands resting on the railing, will just sort of curl into a fist. She, squeezes tight on nothing. I read about you. I know what you are. I know what comes next, but I don't think I'm ready. I want to see this through.
You ever are, child. But come. And she beckons you to follow down a hallway.
Trina will linger for a moment at the balcony, but eventually she will follow.
I can feel your doubts, your suspicions. You have carried over your companion. And as I have said before, you have questions. Ask them.
Katrina opens her mouth to try and say something, but then sort of feels around on her person her clothes, trying to find the blank tarot card.
It is not there. You don't really have your items with you.
Mm-hmm. Can't bring it with you, can you?
Yeah. You have your clothes, but do you really?
Back when we first entered the mists, those of us who were there at the time had our fortunes read by Vistani fortune teller. But when she got to read my fortune, she couldn't. Card came up blank. All of them did. It was supposed to lead us to an ally that we could use in the upcoming conflict, but
Grave concern. Your destiny is in flux. What know you of the cycles of Barovia?
before Strahd was a vampire, back when they were still immortal, a mortal.
Thank you for the clarification.
um, they had a brother, and their brother fell in love with a woman named Tatiana. Strahd could not accept this and wanted her for himself, and went so far as to kill his own brother for her. Apart from the obvious damage to the castle that has somehow persisted to this day, the fates that granted Strahd the power and the goal of drawing blood against his own kin.
An interesting word. The fates.
Suppose a more accurate term would be the dark powers, then. But regardless,
In this manner, fates is amusingly appropriate. Given that you consider your fortune to be from the fates.
regardless,
I am afraid that in these two instances they are indeed one and the same.
Oh shit.
Trina was about to continue the story about how Strahd became a vampire and couldn't ever be with Tatiana because they would get torn away from him or killed again and again and again and cycles and whatnot. But she just full on stops her dialogue and looks up at the Raven Queen with a glimmer of macabre understanding. I'm sorry, what?
Every time it plays out the same. Heroes arrive in the mists and battle your father. Sometimes your father is defeated. The heroes die, Of course, sometimes they are victorious, but die all the same in the end, they do. Your father, though. His death is never complete. He is held in his state, just as he is held in his land. I have seen a certain status quo.
So you're telling me that with their help, he can be killed for good.
He just stares at you. Perhaps. But I would be wary, mortal. These fates, these cards, are an imprint on a pattern. A pattern woven by a dark hand. Your fortune does not exist because you are not within this pattern. You exist outside of it. You represent a change to this status quo, for better or for worse. Do you see the danger now?
I do.
And yet I think you still do not. And she leads you to the end of the hallway towards another window. Well, I guess this one's a window as opposed to a balcony. As I said before, a great effort has been extended to reach you. I have come to a distasteful arrangement, but a necessary one. If entirely unprecedented. But these are unprecedented times.
And without me, without the change to the status quo, nothing improves, nothing gets worse, nothing changes. With me dead and out of the picture, everything moves on the same as it always has. Is that right?
It is but my hope.
But
What know you of this realm?
Of Barovia, or where we currently are?
The Shadowfell.
There is just a blank, dumbfounded expression on Katrina's face. There is no spark of recollection there at all.
I rule this realm, and long have I fought rivals. You know of one.
Katrina nods.
What you do not know is that there is another. Another entity that arrived here long ago, from where even I do not know. And neither does he. And through the window, she shows you a view of the Shadowfell. Kind of like, you know, in Breath in the Wild, where like you step out and like you see the whole map. It's kind of that.
Okay.
And you see the Raven Queen's, what you assume to be the Raven Queen's territory, as it looks like, you know, where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And you see what you think is like Arcus's foothold. But you also see a great mist.
Oh, shit.
Long ago, this being arrived. And for just as long, we have been at war. We are losing that war. And you can see slowly the mist is expanding. Slowly but surely.
This war is not against Strahd, is it?
He is merely a pawn. Perhaps a more important piece. But still a piece.
What would you have me do?
I would deny this enemy all that I can. Alas, we are still losing. And regrettably, you do have a choice.
Katrina is still silent and staring off into the distance at the very slowly but surely expanding mists.
You hear a chuckle from behind you.
I'll turn to see who or what it is.
And what a choice you have. Um,
Is that Orcus?
that is Orcus.
Definitely looks like Orcus.
You are late. Spare me your pompousness. You and I had a deal, after all. And as for you, little one, perhaps don't think of this as a choice, but as an opportunity. And you see a green light appear.
So the choice is what? Let myself die, perish, move on, or pointing at the green thing, go back? Under your power?
Look, both of our influences combined to reach you. And so, it will require both of us yet again to return you.
Said you're losing this war. If nothing changes, you will lose. Going back is a risk. For better or worse, she said. But it's a necessary one.
Orcus chuckles. Mostly at the Raven Queen.
I will sort of look back at the Raven Queen and sort of try and gauge their expression and what they think of this particular decision.
Make me an insight check.
Oh boy, let me just insight check against a god real quick. I do not have disadvantage, so don't roll with disadvantage. That's an insight.
Nice.
Nice.
Her face is a still mask, like literally.
I
So,
figured.
you know.
A porcelain mask.
And the tone of voice is also very difficult to read. So you prefer to trust in her words. Detestable but necessary.
with that.
Go ahead and make me a religion check.
Yep. This goes against everything she stands for. I know it, like,
Yeah.
as a player.
Yeah. Yeah, you know that much.
We're all in agreement. And Katharina will step forward toward the green light.
Mind what I have said, mortal. And everything fades. And you wake up. You are on a misty shore. There are dead skeletons all around you.
We'll
And you
scramble to my feet and sort of look around, see if there's any immediate danger.
there is one person behind you.
Eh.
A familiar face holding a familiar skull.
You.
I did tell you you would regret this.
Don't rub it in.
And I think we will call it there.
Jeez, wow.
God damn it! Am I gonna have to 1v1 Gesh? Oh boy.
That was more of a, you're stuck back in Barovia now.
Yep.
Told you you'd regret giving me the skull.
Oh man.
Wow.